What's up, everyone? Justin here, back with a new best of show. I haven't done a best of in a while. It's where I pick wrestlers or managers and give you some of their best work. In my opinion, either their best matches and best stuff, moments they were involved in. And this best of is of a manager. I think my first ever best of a wrestling manager. Best of. Made her name in ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. If you noticed, this shirt is the exact same as my flag. My ECW banner is the same design as the shirt. Anyways, fun fact if you didn't notice. I loved ECW. I was a huge fan of the original ECW, which I did not discover until March. Or I discovered in 98 on a WrestlePalooza 98. Was the first ever ECW pay-per-view I saw at a friend's house. And I thought it was real. I was 14 years old at the time, but I was like, ECW, this shit. Or no, was I 14? Yeah, I was 14 in 98. Anyways, I was like, this shit, WCW, WWE, I know that's a work. But ECW, to me, in 98, I thought legit. I was like, this shit is real. This looks real. The action looked real. Didn't look scripted at all. I know there were storylines, but still, it just looked more realistic wrestling, more adult type realistic pro wrestling. Again, I was a huge ECW mark. Huge fan of it. I've seen all the history. I've gone back. 93, I've seen every year of ECW. 93, 4, 5, 6, 7. I own a ton of ECW original DVDs with the original music on it. So best of, as I said, it's of a manager, a female manager, one of the greatest and top managers in ECW. As a female, there were other female managers, valets, like a woman, Missy Hyatt, Kimona Wanalea, greatest name for a female wrestler manager of all time, Kimona Wanalea. Whoever came up with that name, that's great. Anyways, other women that were in ECW, Chastity, Jazz, Dawn Marie, Sunny. But this woman deserves a best of show. Her work was great in the original ECW. She was great. All-time great. Heel manager. She was good as a babyface too. What am I talking about? Best of Francine, the Queen of Extreme. I think she really deserves to go in the WWE Hall of Fame someday. She was not there in the beginning, but she debuted in 1995. She was presented in the crowd as like a fan in the ECW arena. I think she had a sign for Stevie Richards. She was a big Stevie Richards fan. Anyways, they got her involved. In 95, Francine got involved, got into the ring. And I believe was either following around Stevie Richards or was like helping him at ringside or was his manager or something like that. But she got involved. We all know Stevie Richards in 95 was with Raven. Raven was with Beulah. Beulah and Francine clashed. They started feuding a little bit in 95. Stevie Richards actually in 95 super kicked Francine. Super kicked her right in the face. right under the chin. She went down in the ring. I'm not sure what show it was on, but look it up. Try to find the clip or video. Francine gets super kicked by Stevie Richards in 1995. That was like the first ever bump she ever took, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I remember. And she took a lot of crazy bumps for being the one of the longest females in ECW. So let's go again. 95, she was super kicked. That was great shit. Had to put that on the best of Francine. Her Beulah McGillicuddy feud. That was good shit in 95. And then let's go to 1996. At the end of 95 or beginning of 96, she became the Pit Bull's manager. Started wearing like, I don't know how to describe it. She started dressing different. Because with Stevie Richards, she was just like wearing Daisy Dukes and a tank top. When she managed the Pitbull, she was like in latex, leather dresses and skirts. She was like in dominatrix clothing when she was managing the Pitbulls. And she did good work when she was managing the Pitbulls. House Party 1996. Francine takes from the Eliminators, Perry Saturn, John Cronus. Great team, underrated team, the Eliminators in ECW. Crazy. Francine, manager of the Pitbulls. House Party 96 took total elimination. The Eliminators finisher. Leg sweep and a spin kick to the goddamn head at the same time. It's a great finish. Look it up. Total elimination to Francine. That was insane to see. When I first saw that video, House Party 96, and I saw Francine get total elimination, I was like this. I couldn't fucking believe it, that she took that crazy bump. And she took that move, total elimination. Again, if they hit it at the same time, the leg sweep and the kick to the head, if they hit it at the same damn time, it was a devastating fucking tag team finisher. It looked awesome. Looked like it hurt too. But anyways, yeah, she takes total elimination. House Party 96. That was insane. Then, I believe in the summer or the spring of 96, she turned on the Pitbulls. It might have been Heat Wave 96, I'm not sure. But she turned on the Pitbulls. She had a skirt on. Took her skirt off after she turned on the Pitbulls against Shane Douglas for the TV title. Might have been a four-way. I'm not sure. And I think Pitbull, Gary Wolf already had the broken neck and the halo on. But she turned on the other Pitbull, the bald one. I forget his name. Pitbull number 1 or 2. But, yeah, she turned on the Pitbulls, took her skirt off, and her underwear said franchise on her ass. It said franchise. She joined Shane Douglas, turned heel. That was a great fucking heel turn. She slapped the Pitbull, kicked him in the nuts, and I believe Shane Douglas and DDT'd him or pinned him. And then, major heat. Shane Douglas, a franchise character with Francine, the head cheerleader, the Queen of Extreme, together in 96, 97, they were on fire. They were the hottest fucking act, the hottest heels in wrestling at the time, I think. Or at least in ECW, they were the absolute number one heels. They were hated. I can't say that they were the top heels in 96 because the NWO was. But definitely the most hated manager and female was Francine when she went with Shane Douglas. And her and Shane worked so well together as a wrestler and manager combo. It was great. Gary Wolf had that halo after he got, I believe, neck surgery, and had that giant halo on his neck, whatever the hell it's called, I forget. I don't know if it's called a halo. But Shane Douglas grabbed him by it, shook it, and then he fell to the mat. That was insane. Francine and Shane had so much heat. In 96, they had to escape the ECW arena and cover their heads and jump in a car, jump in trunks, and be driven away. Or hide in trunks to be taken out of the ECW arena. Insane. So, 97, her and Shane Douglas were on fire with the triple threat. Brian Lee, primetime Brian Lee, joined the triple threat at one point. Rick Rude started calling out Shane Douglas. Rick Rude was feuding with Francine in the triple threat. And Rick Rude in 97 was really fucking with the franchise. Eventually he was going to have a match with them, but it never happened. I'm sure Rick Rude wanted to wrestle, but he had that Lords of London insurance policy where he couldn't wrestle. And I believe he's paid a couple million to not wrestle for 3 years or something. Or I don't know if he could even wrestle ever again. I don't know. But I did hear Bischoff on his podcast say Rick Rude wanted Bischoff to pay off the insurance policy so he could return to the ring in 97, 98. But Bischoff said, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But it was good. Rick Rude picking up Francine, acting like he's going to pile drive her. He might have pile drived her at one point, I think. He's picking her up on his shoulders all the time, walking out with her. But Francine in 97 was absolutely on fire with Shane Douglas in the triple threat. Then towards the fall, into November to Remember, Francine was managing. Or maybe into 98 more. Francine started managing. Still at the end of 97, she got injured. I think Bam Bam Bigelow injured her by accident or something. I forget how she got injured. But she had a broken pelvis. Look at Watch November to Remember 97. Francine comes out on crutches. She still wanted to work the fucking pay-per-view so bad. She was so dedicated to ECW and Paul Heyman. She showed up to a pay-per-view on fucking crutches with a broken pelvis. She still showed up. She was tough. She was not a girl, not a woman that was a wrestler. She was very skinny, but even though she got injuries, she still showed up to ECW. So then, again, she had a broken pelvis. And then, into 98, she started managing Lance Storm, Chris Candido, the ECW Tag Champs, into 98. And part of, I think, the end of 97. So then in 98, she was absolutely great. She had a great run in 98 with Shane Douglas and the Triple Threat. They were on fire. They were great in 98. 99. Sadly, Shane Douglas left ECW, but before that, we had a new Triple Threat. I want to say in February, they started doing this storyline. Shane Douglas was gonna announce his retirement. He was holding up his boots at the Elks Lodge in Queens, New York. Great small building that ECW used to run in Queens. The crowd was just electric as hell and rowdy in New York, Queens, New York. Anyways, Shane Douglas was acting like he's going to retire. Fans were chanting, please don't go, please don't go. Francine started crying and they were hugging each other. And then, of course, just incredible, Lance Storm had to interrupt with Jazz. And they were saying to Shane Douglas, hey, you want to pass the torch to the new franchise of ECW? Give it to me. Give it to Just Incredible or Lance Storm. And Shane Douglas said, wait a fucking minute. I'm not passing the torch to you two. He said, who I'm talking about, the new franchise of ECW's Tommy Dreamer. So then we had a new triple threat. Shane Douglas, Tommy Dreamer, Francine held up the three fingers in the ECW arena. And Shane, Tommy, Francine feuded with Lance Storm, Just Incredible, and Dawn Marie. Who, I don't know why they brought in Dawn Marie to try to be a parody of Sunny, I guess. Which was hilarious. They started calling her Tammy Lynn Bitch. But then she became Dawn Marie. In 99, the catfight wars were on between Francine and Dawn Marie. Feuded a lot and had a lot of catfights. Which, as a teenager, I loved. I absolutely loved seeing those catfights. It was a different time, different era. They were rolling around in the ring with their thongs on and very short skirts. But again, it worked. Fans loved it because they're like 99% males watching ECW and in the crowds, I believe. And again, in wrestling, I don't care if you think it's wrong and immoral. Sex sells in pro wrestling. Sex absolutely sells. If a company wants to sell sex with their female talents. And if the female talents agree to do it, it sells. It draws. Shouldn't go back to, I'm not saying, definitely not, that we should go back to the cat fights of 1999. We should not, because women's wrestling has evolved. And it's a lot better than just cat fights. The women wrestlers actually get to showcase their talents instead of having bra and panty matches, bikini contests, swimsuit contests, and having cat fights. It's a lot better to just see women's wrestling because there are so many awesome, talented women wrestlers that I like to watch and enjoy watching them more than the guys a lot of the time. And a lot of the women wrestlers are better than a lot of the male wrestlers today. So Francine, again, she turned babyface with Shane Douglas in the beginning of 99. Tommy Dreamer joined them. But then Shane Douglas left. Had a contract dispute, money dispute with Paul Heyman. He was gone out of ECW in May 99. So then Francine became the head cheerleader managing Tommy Dreamer. That was a really good fit. They worked really well together. Then, again, she's still managing Tommy Dreamer, I'd say, from May 99. And then Raven came in. She was still managing Tommy Dreamer. And, well, I guess she was the manager of Raven, too, because they were tag champs. So, still into let's go to January 2000. Again, in 99, she had a ton of just bikini contests and cat fights with Dawn Marie. Because there were only about 3 women in ECW at the time in 99, mostly Jazz, Francine, Dawn Marie. Others came in, but they didn't last. Nicole Bass came in the beginning of 99. She didn't last. She just, I don't know, they didn't want her anymore. I don't know why, but then stupid XPW actually signed Nicole Bass. This isn't about Nicole Bass, but other women came in, or tried to come in, didn't last, because they were no good, like Jasmine St. Clair, the gang bang queen. Seriously. Francine was the queen of extreme, but Jasmine St. Clair was the queen of gang bang. She got banged by, or had a 300-man gang bang. I think in 96 she did that. Insane. What a fucking slut she was. And God almighty, I swear, last year, 2022, I saw Jasmine St. Clair actually reappeared in XPW somehow. What the fuck? They'll sign anybody. They'll probably sign a dead corpse, XPW. But, yeah. Jasmine St. Clair did come in and appear at Living Dangerously 99. Francine gave her a stunner in a DDT and just sent her the fuck out of ECW. So then, I want to say in March 2000, she turned on Tommy Dreamer and became the manager of Raven. That was weird. I didn't like that. That Francine was the manager of Raven. It made no sense. But that's what they had her do. But this was great work. Francine turns on Raven, turns on Tommy Dreamer, and joins Just Incredible, the ECW World Champ. She becomes his manager, and Francine and Just Incredible worked damn well together. Damn well together. And at one point, I think it's February 2000. I think it's ECW on TNN, actually, from my hometown of Milwaukee. I think it was February or March 2000. Francine got on the mic, absolutely was shooting and tore apart and ripped apart Tommy Dreamer in the ring on the mic. Not only did Francine look damn good, damn attractive woman, but she could talk, she could cut a promo, and she looked great. And she was a great manager. And when she had to work mixed tags, she did. She could do it all. She could manage, talk, get heat, be a face. And she looked damn good. So then let's go to, she's still managing Just Incredible. The final ECW pay-per-view, January 2001. Francine managed Steve Corino and Just Incredible together. At the end of the pay-per-view, they said they were the players. Then the show was ending. And then sadly, we never got to see Francine with Steve Corino or Just Incredible again in ECW, because after Guilty as Charged, 2001, that was it. The company was over. And there were no more pay-per-views or TV. After Guilty as Charged, I think they had a final house show in February 2000 or January 2001. But after her ECW run, Francine got signed to like the first couple NWA TNA pay-per-views, weekly, Wednesday pay-per-views. She appeared on one, I believe. I only saw her appear on one. And I don't know what it was. It was supposed to be a bikini contest or a battle royal or something. It was weird. It was weird. It made no sense to me. It was weird. But Francine and NWA TNA, I don't know why. But to me, it seemed like they totally dropped the ball with her. Didn't ever manage anybody. And barely appear on pay-per-view. After NWA TNA 2003, she reappeared in wrestling for MLW. She started managing Michael Shane. I thought he was a pretty good talent. Michael Shane, he's actually the nephew of Shawn Michaels. He's not wrestling anymore. I really doubt he's wrestling anymore, but I thought Michael Shane was pretty good. And Francine is his manager in MLW. she wasn't around MLW that much. Maybe a couple shows. But my God, she looked great. I know at one point, Elix Skipper in MLW picked her up for a big wiggle and was smacking her ass doing a big wiggle. That was pretty damn funny. So after MLW in 2003, Francine disappeared. I don't know if she was done or taking indie bookings. I don't know what happened, but she was gone. Because sadly, there was no more WCW or ECW. There was just WWE and NWA, TNA, and TNA. And ROH was around, and MLW was around a little bit in 2004 before they had to go away. But I'm very happy MLW came back. But they did go away in 2004. And Francine, I'm surprised that she was never hired as a manager or something for like Wow Women of Wrestling in 2001 or something. But she reappeared at Shane Douglas's Hardcore Homecoming ECW tribute shows in 2005. Francine reappeared. She did have a falling out with Shane Douglas, I believe, and I don't know why they stopped talking, but they did have a falling out for a little while. I'm glad they're on good terms again and talking and friends. So then, Hardcore Homecoming, she appears on with Shane Douglas as his manager at the ECW arena. That was a great show. Then, ECW One Night Stand, 2005. Francine actually appears during the main event. Or was that 06? I think it was 05. One Night Stand. 06 One Night Stand. Francine wasn't even on. And she was part of the company being paid from WWE. But they brought her in the first One Night Stand. She shows up, tries to have a cat fight, or has a cat fight with Beulah. That was good shit. That was good shit. See Francine on a WWE ECW tribute show. One Night Stand 2005. Then after that, she was still getting paid by WWE. She barely appeared on ECW on Sci-Fi. She hardly ever appeared. Maybe a couple appearances. And then at one point, they put Francine to manage Boz Mahoney. What? That made no sense. I was like, why the fuck is she with Boz? Why didn't they just put her back with Justin Incredible or Tommy Dreamer? But they didn't. So she was a very short-lived manager and barely appeared on ECW on Sci-Fi. Probably because of the stupid dumbass Johnny Ace. Wasn't a fan of her. I don't know. He didn't want her on TV or something. But, yeah, her WWE CW run was not good because they didn't use her at all, barely. She was used on maybe house shows that ECW did, but I'm talking about WWE's ECW. She was on a house show at the ECW arena, I think in 06, but she was in a bikini contest against Kelly, I believe. And Francine looked great in 2006. She still looks great in 2024. Listen to her podcast. She looks awesome. She's a beautiful woman. She's a legend. Legend as a manager. Great talker also. And she took a lot of insane, crazy bumps because she loved wrestling. She loved what she was doing. So there it is. Best of Francine. Everything I mentioned, check out. She did have a lot of mixed tag matches with Shane Douglas against Tommy Dreamer and Beulah. She also had mixed tags with Justin Incredible and her against, I think, Jazz and Tommy Dreamer. or jazzing somebody. But Francine, you had a great career in ECW. To me, you're a Hall of Famer. You're an absolutely gorgeous woman. You still look great, and I love your podcast and listening to it. Queen of Extreme podcast. Check out Francine's podcast on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. Queen of Extreme Francine. That's the best of Francine. That's my best of Francine list. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, look her up on YouTube. Best of Francine. Find her work and watch it because she was damn good. Damn good. Bye for now.